Guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be talking about the highway capability of my Xpulse Pro. Now, with reference to my engine, I have really not made any modification. Yes, I've changed the muffler end of my exhaust, but my exhaust still mainly remains stock. So I can talk with reference to, even if you do pick up an Xpulse from the showroom, this is the performance that you will also receive. Now, I'd recently done a trip all the way to Goa, and this is what I've experienced. Now, if you're looking at a bike with performance, the TVS Apache 200 has a far more capable engine, far more powerful, and far more fun and punchy to ride. If you're looking at performance as well, this bike, apart from the Apache, that will beat the Xpulse 200 in any aspect, from acceleration to say top speed. You have even the you have the electric vehicles like the Ola Pro, which will out accelerate and out top speed the Xpulse 200. So again, why am I talking about these negatives? Because these negatives do impact your decision at times. Now, I specifically had purchased the Xpulse because I was looking at an absolute off-road machine. And if you're looking at an absolute off-road machine, if you have around 25 to 22 lakh rupees, obviously the Africa Twin, the Tiger 900 Rally Edition, they make a lot of sense. But if you have a budget of approximately 2 lakh rupees, then the Xpulse Pro makes sense. So this engine, the bike, everything is designed to take you places where no other bike can take you. Now, if you're using that specific bike, a dirt bike, this is a proper dirt bike, this is not an adventure tourer. If you're using this specific dirt bike on the highways, yes, the capability, the engine capability, the limitations of the bike is absolutely evident. Now, if you're comfortable riding at 105 kilometers, yes, this bike can ride all day long. But again, I'm not a guy who would promote high speed YouTube videos. As you've seen, quite a few people have lost their lives as well. And India being India, unfortunately, there is no road crossing sense. There could be cows crossing the roads, there could be dogs crossing the roads. Having a lower stop end does matter, and it is safe, but there are always stretches which have been built by the government where you feel you can easily cruise at 125, 130, 140, 170 depending on your speed capabilities. Now, when you try to cover around 800 kilometers in one day, a higher top speed than 115 will matter. I felt the bike could have done with a 6-speed gearbox, because I feel all the gears are placed in such a way that it is short geared. Again, these short gears are required when you are on a dirt bike. This is a dirt bike, I'll re-emphasize on that. But when you take a dirt bike gearing ratio on the highway, you feel the engine is revving to the max, but it is not really going as fast as you wish it could. I was accompanied by a V-Storm as well, and I felt the V-Storm engine is so much better. I have done a video of the V-Storm as well. It's got gem of an engine, and if at all there was a combination of the V-Storm engine with the Xpulse Pro, it would have been a gem of a bike as well. But unfortunately, what we have a basic engine with us. Now, I'll tell you the advantages of these engines. These engines do not overheat. Most of the bike riders will be riding the bike 98% of the times in the city. Over here, yes, you do not feel the limitation of the engine. You feel like your pants aren't heating up because there's absolutely no heat coming out from the engine. The gearing ratio is perfect for the city, and also the compression ratio is just about perfect where the engine does not heat up. So yes, there are positives over here, but I wish they could have just given a little more horsepower in this particular engine. It would have made a massive difference. Even if they had to have a premium version of the Xpulse Pro with a 6-speed gearbox, I would have loved to take it. Now, why did I take the Xpulse Pro? Obviously, I had the budget of a KTM 390 as well, 390 Adventure. but I found the engine to be too race specific. I found the engine to be too screamy. You had to really rev it off to actually get the torque, to actually get the punch post 5500, 6000 rpm. Over here in the Xpulse Pro, you feel the punch at low 2000, 2500 rpm itself. You feel the engine getting alive at such low rpms. This is the characteristics of an engine that is required when you're going for say absolute hardcore off-roading. Another thing that I've noticed on the Xpulse Pro, and I'm sure the Xpulse will also have the similar facility, is its suspension. If I have to rate the suspension out of 10, I would give it a 20 out of 10, because it's that comfortable. You do not feel the bump, you do not feel uneven roads, and while riding all the way to Goa, that matters. My friend had a CB250, again amazing engine, but he requested me 3-4 times we switched the bike because his back just started aching. The suspension, you can feel the bumps on the road as well as the riding position. Now again, sports bikes are amazing for whoever wants it, but if you want to travel long distances, having a 90-degree riding position does matter, and that's where the Xpulse Pro comes in again. I had a proper 90-degree riding position because the riding position is also extremely comfortable. So that was another plus point. But coming back to the top speed, to the average speed that I could maintain, I do not think I could maintain an average speed more than 100 kilometers, because then I would feel I'm stretching the engine to a bit, stretching the engine out of its comfort zone, and I do not, just for the few more kilometers, which it really doesn't matter when the roads are empty. If your bike is at 100 or 110, you still feel slow, right? So I just kept it at a constant 100 as much as possible from my end, and that's how I rode all the way to Goa. But overall, I feel the bike is amazing. If the Himalayan 450 would have been launched at the time I was searching for a bike, yes, that is something I would have definitely considered, and I would have definitely purchased as well, because it's got a reliable, good engine. Obviously, the chassis braking is a Himalayan aspect. You just hope your chassis doesn't break, and it's got a pretty off-road centric suspension. Himalayan being a Himalayan, obviously it's an adventure tourer, it's not a dirt bike, so I wouldn't be able to thrash it as much as I'm thrashing my Xpulse, and it is obviously heavier, so it would be cumbersome. It would be a little uncomfortable to ride in cities with the extra weight, with the extra heat being generated from the engine. But again, at my point of time, I found the Xpulse a perfect buy. And do I regret buying it? Absolutely not. I think it's a amazing bike to purchase. Now you got to understand the manufacturer's target audience. Hero did not target the people who have the budget up to 3 to 4 lakh, where they can put in all the technology and make it an extremely capable off-roader as well as a highway tourer. Hero targeted the mass. I've seen 2-3 Zomato riders also using the Xpulse, because for them it is like a bike that looks different, it is comfortable, it is fuel efficient, and it is reliable. So considering the target audience, considering the price aspect, you get one hell of a bike. I would also like to emphasize the front headlight that the Xpulse, the current 2024 Xpulse has, is extremely bright, and it really lights up the road without blinding the opposite person in low beam. So that's another plus point of the Xpulse. What else did I like about the Xpulse? Let me think. Yes, one thing I did not like about the Xpulse is it had a narrow seat. Again, a narrow seat is required while off-roading, but I personally had widened the seat 1.5 inches both ways. It is a little uncomfortable while putting your legs down, but overall I found it, my modification was as per my specifics. I wanted my butt to be more comfortable on long rides, and I feel that is something that I found a miss from the bike, but I have resolved that. Now, with reference to the engine also, you obviously have performance exhaust, you have a performance air filter. My friend has a performance exhaust in the Xpulse, but it's not really going to change the gearing ratio. whatever is the top speed is going to be the top speed. Yes, it may increase by 2-3 kilometers because there's less of resistance, but you really can't do anything about top speed. So if you're okay riding at 100 kilometers all day long, it is a good bike. I'd gone with a bunch of super bikes to Goa. Obviously, they had to stop for people in the 200-250cc category, but yes, we could catch up with them. But if you are in a group of KTMs and Kawasaki's, you will be left back. There's no two ways about it. This isn't a performance oriented bike. This is an overall rounded bike for off-road enthusiasts, and that's exactly what the Xpulse thrives in. So this is my brief review about what you can expect riding the Xpulse for long touring rides. There have been people who have taken the Xpulse all around India as well, but again, my next bike, I will make sure that it'll be nothing less than Africa Twin, where I have everything, but obviously that's going to be at least 10 times more expensive than this one. As of now, I'm happy with the Xpulse Pro. Apart from the highway top speed expectations from my end, it has really out-achieved my expectations. It has not let me down. The parts are readily available. It is an extremely fuel efficient bike. The maintenance will not break your bank, and that's, I think I'll just sum it up over here. So this is what you can expect from my Xpulse, especially if you're looking at a highway touring bike. So my recommendation right now is you also have the Speed 400 and you have the, say, Himalayan 450. I would highly recommend, please test ride both of these bikes. If you have a budget up to 2 lakhs, you really don't have an option. If you have the budget up to 4 lakhs, then these two are extremely capable bikes. With the Triumph, I've test ridden it. Apart from it being not as, the engine does not heat up as much as the Himalayan 450, it is lighter than the Himalayan 450. It is more maneuverable and it is more flickable. But obviously on the downside, it is a scrambler, so it is nowhere as close to capable, it is nowhere as capable as the Xpulse 200 Pro with reference to off-roading, nor is it as capable as the Himalayan 450 with reference to off-roading. If you want light off-roading, yes, that is the bike for you. I'm not saying you require an off-road specific bike to go off-roading, but I've seen even Hero Honda Splendors go up mountains, so that is not a deal breaker. It's just that you'll be going a little slower. But why have I emphasized, I'm kind of deviating away from the reason I made this video. Why am I emphasizing on these bikes? That's because this video is about highway capabilities. Both these bikes can do a 130, 140 all day long, the Triumph 400 Scram, and as well as the Himalayan 450. So these two bikes you should definitely consider. But again, if you do not mind a lower top speed, the Xpulse is a really good bike. I hope this video was informative, and I look forward for seeing you in my next one. Thank you.